to catch so many a year. It's a bit like our local sea bass. There was a ban on Liverpool-based sea bass this year till only about 3 weeks ago, so we only just got that back on the menu. And it's about replenishing the stock. So it's very important that we choose the right fish. So Dory is not abundant. It's a very special fish, and we use it a lot in the restaurant when we know that it's been caught appropriately and brought by the lovely Mr. Buckmaster, which is his real name, by the way. Do you know that? He's not actually called Wards at all. He's a charlatan, isn't he? Charlatan.
Yeah, an imposter.
But Wards, I always say to people, if Wards ever came out of Birkenhead Market, I would worry, because you go there and you pick your own lobster out the tank, you pick your own crab out the tank, and it's right. It's like the little hub that brings everybody to the market, isn't it? So it's very important that we support our local fishmonger and our local meat producers and growers. So we've got this lovely. I'm only going to take one of the fillets off because I know I'd love to feed all of you, but I don't think we've got quite a big enough fish, the fillets and the fishes. So I'll just take that one little fillet off the top. And what we're going to do with this, we're going to choose another vegetable that's very seasonal at the moment, and this is another little place in Oxton Road. You all go to Oxton Road shopping occasionally? No? Yeah. So the little guys, oh thank you very much. The little guys who've also set up with me in the Food Heroes are K&K from Oxton Road, and they do the most amazing job. They buy all the local produce, they go to the Liverpool market, they buy from local growers. So anything that they have in the shop, you're not only supporting a local supplier, but the local growers as well. So it's very important. So I've chosen a lovely cauliflower. I went out and saw what they turned up with today. Little cauliflower, yeah. So sounds dead simple, a bit of collie, a bit of fish. Then we're going to mix it with some flavours of Granny Smith apple. Now it sounds a bit weird putting apple with fish, but you need that little bit of acidity. You know the way Granny Smith's has got a little bit of a zing to it. So obviously we use a little bit of lemon in the cooking process. We're going to put some apple. I've got some amazing dressed crab again from Mr. Wards. This is from Filey, just up the northwest coast, just past Southport towards Morecambe area. So some lovely crab, and this is also from K&K, a little bit of fennel. So although there's not that much fennel grown in the UK, but we're going to just get it. So is that pan, I should have one slightly, that's not really hot. You just put that one on low. And what I'm going to do is just going to give it a couple of seconds in there just to take the edge off it, and then I'm going to butter roast it. So in the pan, just put the fennel in, Maldon salt, pepper, and just gradually baste it and let it cook slowly. And fennel goes really well, doesn't it, with fish? So we're going to have a little, that'll be the base of the dish, and then we'll...
I think before we move away from the fish, should we do our fun foodie fact?
Yes.
The other name was John Dory.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody know another name for John Dory? What it's known as? Sorry?
St. Peter's fish.
Close.
Correct.
Yeah. St. Peter's fish.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it later, it's got like a circle on it, which is said to be his thumbprint from when he pulled it out the sea.
I know, it's funny, isn't it? This will go into Brexit now, because if you go to France, it's called Saint Pierre. You go to Spain, San Pedro. UK, John Dory.
Bill.
See, it says it all, doesn't it? We never wanted to be part of Europe in the first place. No, it's true, though, isn't it? We've always been like that. We're always awkward. So I'm just going to also take a little bit of the collie. I had to make the puree in advance because that takes a bit of time, but I'm going to do a couple of little, like we've done with the fennel. I'm going to just cook these, just a couple of little florets down slowly in the pan. And what happens with cauliflower, because normally we just sort of do a cauliflower cheese, or we cook it and put a bit of butter on, but what it does is it has quite a lot of sugar content, and if you caramelize cauliflower, the flavour and the depth of flavour that you get is stunning. Do you remember that the scallop and cauliflower puree starter that Beth did? I'll talk about our young people as well in a minute at the restaurant. And she'd cooked that, and I remember you saying to me that it was one of the best flavour matchups with that caramelised cauliflower. I'm talking about Beth because she's a lady from the Wirral, 18 years of age, working at the art school on an apprenticeship programme, because we like to use not just local produce, we like to use local people, which I think is very important. And what she's done, what she's only gone and done, we got her to the Northwest, Young Northwest Chef competition, which Brian's very involved with. In fact, you were the founder some 15 years ago or something, weren't you?
Yeah, 19 years ago,
so
Chef.
if you qualify through the Northwest, then you go to the national finals. So she got to the semi-final, and she didn't quite win that, but she got through on a wild card. So she's now going to London to compete in the top 10 young chefs under 23 in the whole of the UK. So, and she's from Upton down the road. So, you know, things do happen on the world, don't they?
I was thinking.
Is that working now?
I was thinking on the way up.
It's like a whole new world. I'm a gas man.
We just need gas.
This is very worrying to me, all this. Where's Debbie McGee as well? Can I have some veg oil, please? This is my Debbie McGee. Do you remember? Yeah. She'll see us sprinting around for the next couple of days. She's very, very good. So
it's worth pointing out, I was thinking on the way up, that the amount of young people that you've mentored over the years, and you know, through your different restaurants in Liverpool, and you're referring to the young chef competition that you've always been a superb supporter of. And
well, if it's something that you believe in, and you know, you probably know, most people think that our industry is growing and growing, and there's loads of people coming into our industry, and loads of chefs and loads of waiters, but there isn't. The reality is, you know, we've got 55,000 jobs in the Liverpool City region in hospitality, and only 52,000 of them are filled. And yet, if you ask a college, any of the colleges are here today, I know that there might be Wirral Met outside there, but most of their enrolment figures are less than 50%. So we've got this enormous problem, you know, so I always try and find the little gems, and they're out there, you've got to look for them, but they are out there. And we try and find those little gems and mentor them, and hopefully make them into the chefs of the future, don't we? Which you have done amazingly over the years as well.
The good news is, one of the colleges I'm involved with, we had 7 new enrolments 2 years ago.
Yeah.
29 this.
Is that Ellesmere Port?
Yeah.
Is that Ellesmere Port? So
29 enrolments.
So there you go.
So, yeah.
That's great. So it is happening, but I think there's still this perception that catering and hospitality is something that you do if you're no good at everything else. And that was my career's advice when I was at Wirral Grammar School. They thought I was a lunatic. My dad thought I was a lunatic, actually. He wanted to be a chef, but, well, he's probably right. But, but you know, you rebel, don't you? You follow your heart and you do what you feel you should do. So, but I can tell you that the opportunities now, you know, and the hours are changing and the pay is changing, and the opportunities that are out there is just off the scale. I can't explain. You know, I wish. Sometimes you wish you had 10 restaurants. Sometimes you never wish you had a restaurant at all, of course. But staffing remains to be the single biggest challenge. Humans, we're always quite tricky, aren't we, humans? Have you noticed that? I'd much rather talk to a John Dory.
Yeah. It's when it starts talking back.
Yeah. Bloody hell, Debbie McGee set me up here. What's going on? Debbie?
That's pan number 3, that shit.
Is that? Yeah. I don't even know what I need that one for. I've started in the other one. Could I have my little presentation place, please? The beige one, thank you. So I'm just going to put a little bit of apple, because I want to dress this with some lemon. Not because I want more acidity, but I don't want it to oxidise. I don't want the colour to change. There's enough acidity in the Granny Smith on its own, to be fair. I'm just going to cut some little sticks, little batons. Tiny bit of lemon. How's that fennel doing, Brian? Is it time to start fish yet or not?
So I was very nervous. You don't want to start shaking another chef's pan or interfering, you know. So
we get very dangerous about things like that, don't we? Yeah. We do indeed. Could I have a little bit of olive oil, please? So this is our crab mix now.
Do you use cauliflower leaves much, Paul?
I mean, you can. I don't use them that often. I find them a little bit tough. Yeah. I think people dehydrate them and make them into powder and stuff like that, but I find them just as a vegetable. The florets is where it's at, but there's nothing matter with soup, you know. Honestly,
yeah. I've been barbecuing with them lately.
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah, barbecue collie is off the scale. Yeah. So look at that. These beautiful white, fresh crab meat. We've got some of these in the counter today with Peter working away. I'm just going to put a little bit more lemon in there. Maldon salt. Not just because of the saltiness, but the texture. got that lovely crunch to it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that. And also, I know what that other pan was for now.
It's all coming back to you.
It is, it's all, yeah. Just turning those vegetables once more. Can you see this, by the way? Oh yeah, you can. Oh, very good. And now that cauliflower, I don't know if you can see, but it's just starting to get a little bit of golden brown. Where are we? Oh, look. We can actually see that. I'll try and get it. So we're just getting a little bit of brown. That caramelisation is starting to happen. I just need that empty pan, if I may.
Yeah.
So the sauce for this is quite interesting. I like, as you can tell from my figure, I like dairy. So we've got a little bit of vegetable stock in there, a little bit of double cream, quite a lot of double cream actually. And there'll be a little bit of butter going there. Quite a lot of butter actually. We do like, butter makes everything taste great, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Come on, what's the matter with you? It's good for you. Where did we get without butter, eh? I know you can't have it all the time, but it's a little bit of S&P. Now this is something that I really like. What part of my childhood was in Singapore in the Far East, and an ingredient that was quite often used there is, it's actually it's a Japanese ingredient, but they use it a lot in Asia, and it's miso. So miso paste. This is one of your sponsors. Should be shouting about it. Yeah. So miso is like fermented bean curd, and then they sort of grind it up with soy and all sorts of lovely little things. But the flavour of miso, it's got that sort of that umami flavour that everybody talks about these days, which is the balance of. Oh, hello. That's just in case you got stroppy in the middle of the demo. Little toffee hammer there to keep around. Yeah. Order. Yeah. Pay attention at the back there. Come on. All right. So we're just going to do a little reduction. So we've got the miso, a little bit of lemon, the veg stock. I might put a bit more actually in there. Just a little bit more stock. Will you keep an eye on that, chef, so it starts to reduce? That would be lovely.
Responsibility.
Yeah, I'm going to keep that for the plating up. Bring that forward. Is that going to be a good position? Yes, it is. Lovely, thank you. So now we're going to start our fish. So Jonathan Dory, what's the story? Here he is. I'm going to just cook two little...
Competition here, guess the gadget.
So that's a tea infuser, that is. That's for when you put a few little leaves in there and infuse it into the water. So you can see, beautiful. It's the most unusual fish because it comes with 3 fillets. So I took the top one off, which is the most chunky, and you end up with 2 amazing, beautiful. There's no pin bones, there's no scales. It's like unlike any other fish. Amazing and very, very delicate flavour. So I'm just going to put again Malden, only on the skin side. And what that does is we're trying to make a fish crackling really. We want that skin to go golden brown, and you'll see how quickly it does. Have we got that nice and hot right now?
Big pan.
So we've just got natural oil, nothing fancy, no olive oil, no rapeseed oil, just standard vegetable oil. Need a little bit more butter in there.
How many chefs does it take to operate a hob?
Yeah, 3. Did you just switch that one off now? I want to leave. I'm going to leave in, but just switch the heat up on that. Yeah. And then we're going to take our beautiful dory, skin side down. Not quite as hot as I wanted it. Oh yes it is. See, that's the beauty of induction. It is pretty damn efficient when it gets going. I have to say thank you to our sponsors for the kitchen, by the way, which is, you'll see on the front, Inspired Kitchens from Heswell. They donated this for our demos. I thought that was really cool.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much to them. Mr. Mike Lloyd. And we've also got Cop Art Crest. Did you see the guy with all the little shoots and flowers? Did you get, I don't know if you got to taste any of those. But Cop Art have sponsored today as well, so I'm going to bring these over for my twiddly bits, as I call it, when we get going. And these are all little cresses that are compatible with fish, so we'll make a little harvest festival garden to go around our Jonathan Dory. How lovely. Okay.
So you're talking about the opportunities that cooking brings.
Yeah.
I spotted Mr. Boardley in the audience.
Ah, yeah.
It's 12 years since we were in Transylvania.
Indeed, yes.
So we,
that was an interesting trip, Brian, wasn't it?
yeah, so we went out, just before Liverpool was capital of culture, we went out to Romania to do a cultural exchange, didn't we?
Yes, I'm not quite sure what culture we landed in, but it was very interesting, yeah. It was when, to be fair, it was when Romania was still very much, you know, under the Ceausescu reign, and it was really quite tough, wasn't it? It was quite humbling for us, I think.
Yeah.
But we were judging a culinary competition, and then we ended up cooking one night as well, didn't we? Which was fabulous and crazy at the same time. So just, Jonathan, so now we've got that butter and vegetable oil making a lovely frothing, hot, sort of pumping flavour, getting it golden brown, making that fish crackling. And I'm just going to make sure we get that lovely caramelisation, and then I'll turn him, and you'll see how quickly fish, it's a natural fast food fish really. It's just people get put off by the filleting and the scales and the gutting, but if you go to a good fishmonger, all that can be done for you, you know. So you can see that? Do I need to tip the pan? Good Lord. I'm having to work for a living today, aren't I?
I'm trying not to get the finger on it.
There we go. Can you see that? Beautiful fillets. Perfect white fish. But that crispy skin, as it's starting to brown, is just... I wish we could have a fan to blow all the smells that way. Are you getting anything there? Can you smell? Yeah, oh, we're like the Bisto kids, aren't we? Oh, Mr. Askew. Oh, look at that Dory. Oh, titty not. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Just needs to reduce a little bit more, if we may, Brian. And I'm going to put a tiny bit more of the miso. A little bit more. And that's literally just a reduction, so there's no gluten, you know, it's really good. I know it's high in dairy, but there's no problem with any gluten or anything like that. So. And that fish is done, so can we just switch that off and let him sit in the butter? And then we're going to have our little Andy Warhol moment now, the plating up, isn't it fun?
To go.
This is the bit chefs love, though. The young uns at work, they always, you know, they get a bit bogged down in the prep, and you've spent 8 hours, 9 hours prepping, getting it all ready for service. And then when the whistle blows, it's like a beginning of a rugby game or something for me. I absolutely love the service, and I always say to them, if you don't love the service, you're in the wrong game, aren't you, really? So just need that draining tray, sorry. Oh, there's another one I wanted. That's another little Andy Warhol. I'll tell you about that as well. Thank you. So we're literally going to take our Jonathan. Here we are, Jonathan. Come and have a little rest over here. Thank you. Saturday, yeah. Fantastic. You could serve that as 2 portions, really. As you can tell, I'm quite generous with my portioning. And I'm going to take the lovely caramelised cauliflower and fennel, just to drain any excess butter and any excess oil. I don't want that on the plate. I don't want the plate greasy in any way, but I do want those lovely natural sugars that have been browned to reflect in the plate. Could you just give that a little whisk? You might have a little bit more cold butter. You whisk in some cold butter just at the end, as if you needed any more, you know. It just thickens that nice little gloss on it, nice little creaminess, isn't it, Chef? Okay, so we've got our apple, we've got our crab, and I'm just going to take a little drop of that sauce to bind the crab together. Just a tiny bit, so we're sort of mixing the crab and that umami spoons. You keep she's at it. You're moving it, aren't you, Debbie McGee? Yeah. Giving me a bit of trouble here, Brian.
Well,
so we've got a look. Yeah.
You know what you're getting yourself in.
I sure do. So we got that beautiful little bit of crab. Then we've got our fennel. Can we see? Yeah, you can see it being built. Little fennel as the base. I think we only need 1 Jonathan Dory today, actually. Less is more sometimes. Brian's looking a bit peckish, so he might make that.
Undernourished.
Yeah. Our little cauliflower.
So as you're plating up, how's life at the art school? Have you got?
Oh, it's amazing, incredibly busy. We're looking forward to some lovely things coming up because we just turned 5. It's our 5th birthday. Yeah, thank you very much. And we had some lovely news yesterday. Well, I was in a coma on my way home from here about 10 o'clock last night. Autopilot, you know, mystery driving. I was probably half asleep. And I got a text, and the first of the UK top 100s from the industry was announced yesterday. And we came 72 in the UK.
Well done.
So that's a big for us, that, and that's the first of a few. This is a little secret potion that all chefs have up their sleeves. So this is called persillade, and it's often used with cauliflower just to give it a little bit of crust. So it's basically breadcrumbs, parsley, garlic, salt and pepper, and you can see that I just want a little. It's not just for the green; it's for the texture as well. And then I'm going to put some little crisscross apples there. Come on, Jonathan, pay attention. There you go. And you can imagine that little touch of acidity from the Granny Smiths. And then these beautiful little cresses. So we've got some mustard there with a bit of punch. We've got some little tiny mange too. Little splash of colour. But it's also about making the dish look alive. I want people to feel like it's still growing on the plate. And then these are quite punchy as well, beautiful. These are all available for tasting with Cop Art Crest just outside when you leave, actually. He's got tons of things you really should try. And then the final, and then we'll do our Saturday morning kitchen bit, won't we? So what have you made for us today, Paul? Yeah. And I'll say, no, I won't swear. I've been quite good so far, haven't I? So here's our little umami, and I'm just going to run it through that fennel and the caramelised cauliflower. I'm not going to run it all the way around the plate, just a little bit underneath. And then the final bit, because I love it. This is amazing stuff. Butterfly sorrel. Absolutely delicious, but look how beautiful is that? They're like little tiny butterflies. But sorrel and fish, again, incredible flavour combination. So I'm just going to have that final touch before we get our photographic moment. And this dish has been invented especially for the festival today, based on everything from Birkenhead, which is just outside the door there. It's funny, it's Saturday actually, isn't it? So there we are, Jonathan Dory, à la Birkenhead Park. Yeah, all right, thank you very much. Enjoy the festival, and we'll be back again tomorrow. 2 more demos today, and then I've got local guy from the Lawns restaurant, Richard Collingwood, coming up next.